another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm sitting with Gabby once again. So Gabby, if you didn't know, Gabby and I have known each other for about 7 years now. We both went to flight attendant training together, and she's getting started on YouTube sharing her life as a flight attendant and what she does on her days off and Disney, and she has a whole lot that she talks about on her channel. So we're gonna leave her info down below so you guys can go and say hi to her. And do you want to introduce yourself? I just did that.
I was like, did I miss something? Is there anything wrong with us that you didn't say?
Right.
Allie already said I am a flight attendant with her, and we went to training together. Was that really 7 years ago?
7 years ago this month.
Okay, so we're old now.
Yes.
So we went to flight attendant back when we were youthful and sprightly, and now I am Orlando based and I do turns. So basically I don't go on trips anymore, so that's a little different. I try to work morning report times. They're usually like 5 a.m. show times, and I'm home around like 1 o'clock every day, which is really nice. So I get to sleep in my own bed every night. And other than that, I think we're pretty much the same. I am married also. My husband also works for the airline, and he is also a private pilot. So he has his commercial rating and everything, and he's working on building time, and his goal is to eventually be a airline pilot. But right now he's just flying little tiny planes, and he's a flight instructor. So yeah, and we have a 7-month-old puppy.
Maybe one day we can interview him.
Maybe.
Because I know some people really want to know how to become a pilot if you've been a flight attendant. So that would be good. Okay, so I asked you guys over on Instagram a few days ago, probably a week ago, to send us some questions over about the flight attendant life or whatever it is you wanted to know. And we actually we've sat down, we filmed the video and everything, but we have to do it again. So I'm gonna pull up the questions and we're gonna go from there. Okay, so the first question, what made you want to be a flight attendant?
Oh, wow. Okay, so
we're starting deep.
So I have an unconventional answer. I didn't have a goal to be a flight attendant. So I went to college and I was working at Starbucks in college, and then after college I went home and I was still working at Starbucks. I was a manager there, and I felt like I was kind of stuck. I majored in sports management, and I don't really know what you do with that degree. So
yeah, right?
I mean, well, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna manage the football team, like,
right. Mm-hmm.
So I was like kind of stuck in a rut and not really sure what to do with my life, and like really tired of living with my parents. And my mom was like, you should apply to be a flight attendant. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I just like applied. And I know this is not normal, and I know like people apply to like 1,000 airlines, but our airline was hiring at the time, and within like 2 days I got a response, and they're like, come to a job interview. And I was like, okay. And then 3 days later I had an offer to be a flight attendant. So yeah, it was not something like I was like, oh, one day I want to be a flight attendant, or even like this is my dream job. I just kind of fell into it, and clearly I like it because I'm still here, but it was nothing like I ever set out to be, you know?
Yeah. So same here. I've shared this story many times in my channel, but I did not want to be a flight attendant since I was little. Like, it wasn't like a dream. It wasn't like a thing for me at all. And one day my husband and I were going to Guatemala, and he just said, oh, you should be a flight attendant. And I said, absolutely not. They're always gone. And then one day I was working at a bank. I was a personal banker at a bank, and I was doing a home equity line of credit for a customer, and she told me she was a flight attendant. And I said, oh, that's a cool job. Too bad I have kids. I can't do it. And she's like, so single moms do it all the time. Like, everybody does it. Like, it's fine. You can do it with kids. And next thing you know, I applied that same night. That was September 11th, and by December I was in flight attendant training. Okay, next question. Favorite position to work on the plane?
Oh, C, for
C,
sure.
100% C. Well, for me, it's anything in the back, but if I have a choice, it'll be C.
So I like being in a galley. So if we're on the 21, I would rather fly A than fly B because I hate being mid-cabin. But if I'm on like any other aircraft, it's C, and then if I have to, I'll do B. Although the 19 isn't bad because then I can be alone up front.
That's true, huh?
I like being alone.
So for me, so it depends on the airplane too. So if it's like a 319 or a 320, either A or C, which is very weird for me to even say that I want to be A. But then On a 21, I don't mind being mid-cabin. This one's for you, Gabby.
Oh God.
Does the airline frown upon dating someone within the same airline?
So no, I'm actually married to someone in the same airline. We met at the drug test for training. We didn't date in training though. We started dating after training. But I've basically been with him the entire time that we have been flight attendants. So if they frowned upon it, they probably should have let me know a while ago because now we're married.
Now you're married. Best layover. I know you don't do layovers anymore, but what was your favorite? I know this. I think I know this.
Okay, so like my layover choices are controversial. So my favorite layover is Detroit.
So is mine.
Okay, so let's talk about Detroit. They have the comfiest beds, unless we changed hotels. I'm not really sure. They have the comfiest beds. My favorite restaurant of all restaurants for layovers is either like a 10-minute walk away or a DoorDash away. And they have a decent gym, and it's around the corner from the airport, so you don't need to take an aggressively early shuttle. And like no one bothers you on that layover because no one's like, oh, let's go out, and you have to make up some excuse about why you're a slam clicker. These are like not layovers that are desirable though. I'm sure like normal people would be like, oh, I love San Diego. But no, I want to either be with my best friend or I want to be eating food in my bed alone.
San Diego's pretty amazing.
San Diego's a really good layover, but I mean, either leave me alone in my room,
Right.
or let me go see my family or my friends.
Right.
I mean, unlike you two, I've also been to Lima. So
Oh, you've been to Lima?
I have been to Lima. No,
I've never been to. I can't hold
but
Lima.
I don't want to leave the country because then I have to do paperwork.
What are some tips for people starting out as flight attendants? Financially, it looks expensive and hard.
It is. It's not a lie. So when you first start out, 99.9% sure you'll be on reserve. And so what I like to do on my reserve days, at least for our airline, you can pick up on your days off. And they pay time and a half even if you pick up from another flight attendant. So when I was on reserve, I would pick up on my days off on purpose. And then I still got my guaranteed amount of hours from my reserve days, and they were less likely to use me on my first block of reserve days because I had more hours than everyone else on reserve. So I would still get paid for my first block. I almost guaranteed had this first block of reserve days off, and then I would pick up on my guaranteed days off, and then all that money was above my guarantee, and some of it was time and a half. So that helped me earn a lot of money on reserve. And I lived at home the first year and a half. So if you have like a good support system, or you're still young and you live with your parents and you can, I would do that until you're off reserve because you don't make a lot of money as a reserve flight attendant.
Another thing to take into consideration is being, like, if you're commuting. I was commuting when we were on reserve from California to Dallas, so I couldn't pick up on my days off because that meant I was going to be away from my family. So the fact that I had a good support system, which was my husband, we were a two-income family, that was able to allow me to not have to pick up on my days off. But so that's something that you have to take into consideration too.
But I would also, like, before you head to training, I would make sure that you have at least like 2 months rent saved up, because you're gonna have to pay your rent at home or whatever type of bill you have while you're in training. And some airlines don't pay for training, some do. And even if they do pay, it's like very minimal pay, and it's not going to be enough to like cover your bills. It's going to be enough to like feed you.
So what if you forget certain tasks on the flight? So I feel like it's really hard to forget tasks because everything just becomes routine. It's called like flight routine pretty much when you're in training. So like when we get on the plane, you automatically know what you have to check, where it is, and that's why you go to flight attendant training, because you need to know all these things. Like,
it's like by heart. It's
by
routine.
heart, yeah.
Even like when we first started, I literally had not seen the flight routine on the plane because as a passenger you don't pay that much attention to it. But like when you got on the airplane, like you started hearing all the noises and everything kind of just like clicks for you. But like there are definitely times where I forget to bring someone a glass of ice if I'm working a busy flight.
Yeah.
But as far as like our actual job duties that are like ingrained in us, I don't really ever forget them. But if I do, there's usually at least 2 other flight attendants on board with you.
Or some, most likely the passenger would be like, hey, I ordered a water bottle to another flight attendant. So you kind of have each other's back.
Yeah, so usually if you forget something, someone realized it for you, or it's not something that's detrimental to your job.
We're gonna answer 2 more questions. Preferred airlines to fly for as a passenger and why?
Okay, so domestically, I prefer to fly JetBlue if I can because they're just great to fly.
Yeah, they are.
But when I go West Coast, it's harder to fly them because they don't have as many options West Coast. So, well, from like where I travel from at least. And so I like Hawaiian and Alaska also. And then internationally, I really like Air Canada. On Air Canada, you pre-clear customs in Toronto as an American citizen. So I don't have to wait in those scary lines, which like I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And
Especially if you're going like, to like Houston or something crazy like that.
yeah, and they're super nice. And like, even though it's just Toronto to Newark, they did upgrade us to first class, which I super appreciated. So that was nice. Those are my favorite carriers. I don't know what yours are.
Domestically, I really like Southwest. They're always super, super nice. When I was commuting, they always saved me. They were amazing. I commuted a lot on American, and they were great. They were good. But I would say JetBlue and Southwest are probably my favorite, and Virgin America when it was still around.
Oh, Virgin America was great when
Virgin
it existed.
America, yes.
They had
were
such cool
great.
planes, and you could swipe your card and order all your stuff from the screen.
Oh, yeah. Internationally, I like Iberia a lot. We take them when we go to Madrid. I also really liked Virgin Atlantic. We took them to Heathrow, and they were amazing. They gave us like a whole bottle of champagne once. They upgraded us. They were great. Service was great.
I've never taken Virgin Atlantic or Iberia, so I'll just take your word on that
Yeah,
one.
they're great. Iberia doesn't upgrade you, but I just really like the planes, and I really like how like their service and stuff. And they have really good food. Alitalia, when they were still around, which I didn't know they weren't around anymore until you told us.
Until I can take them to Italy.
Yeah, they had really good food. They had like the best.
Well, I'm glad you got to experience
yeah,
it.
it was good.
Glad someone got to enjoy Alitalia while they existed.
They were amazing. Last question. As flight attendants, how do you balance friendships with non-flight attendant friends?
So I don't really have any issues with it anymore just because we've been in the airline for so long now and our schedules are actually like what we want them to be now, so it's not an issue now. But when I first started, I lived an hour and 20 minutes from our airport, and you have a 2-hour call out window at our airline for reserves. So there was a lot of last minute calling by crew scheduling to me, and that was really stressful because I had to be like basically ready to leave at all times. So I always had like my hair and makeup done and my uniforms and my bag packed in my car. So I'd be out at lunch with friends and I'd be like, oh, let me order a salad, and then crew scheduling a call and I would have to immediately leave. So that was like very hard to get adjusted to. But now that my friends understand my job and I have more of a set schedule, it's not an issue. At first though, they were just like, I don't understand why you don't know when you're working. Like, and you can't tell us you can hang out because you don't know if you'll be home.
Or why are you sleeping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
And also now, like, it's nice, even though I don't live in New Jersey anymore, my friends can take us and they can fly on us to come see me, or I can fly to see them. So having flight benefits is nice too, because now I'm able to go visit my friends even though we don't live in the same part of the country anymore.
My best friend and I have always had a long distance friendship anyway, so communication and like FaceTiming has always been really important. And you know, you get buddy passes, so she's been able to use my buddy passes and stuff like that. So that is it for this video. I really enjoyed making this video with Gabby and answering your questions. I think next we're gonna do a Q&A with Zach, so Zach can answer your questions on how to become a pilot, because he was also a flight attendant like us and then became a pilot, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have tons of questions on how to do that. I know I do. So leave me any questions in the comments down below for you guys to ask Zach, and one of these days we'll plan around it and see what his schedule is like, and then we can make a video with him.
Okay.
And also make sure to check out Gabby's channel. She's on TikTok and Instagram as well, so she's just everywhere.
I'm here.
I exist. So thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time here. Make sure to follow me on social media as well. I have TikTok, Instagram, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!